Welcome to RTA Motorsports.
Hello everyone and welcome. Crash here. This is RTA Motorsports, and today is going to be pretty cool. We're going to try to race around the Misano, I hope I'm saying that, Misano World Circuit in Italy. It's the second track that Assettocorsa, I should say the Kunos team, released for the Assettocorsacompetizione, or ACC update. So we're going to give our hand in racing around this track as best as we possibly can. I know you guys are still not going to be able to see the menus. This weird little issue that we're having with ACC. The menus, for some reason, for us, are completely off and below our VR headset. It's actually like directly below us, so we had to go in the VR settings, change the menu type to 2, which allows us to see it, but for some reason in the monitored view you guys are not seeing anything, so that kind of stinks there. But at least we could get in and out of races and actually set everything up. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to do anything. It's almost unplayable at that point. So whoa. Woo! We got our amino acids drink here. I'm going to try to go to the gym after this is done, after the stream is over. So, has anyone else? Oh, Yasin, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a while. We're kind of losing our voice a little bit, so I've been drinking a lot of tea and trying to drink plenty of fluids. It's very possible midstream that we'll just completely lose our voice. So have any of you actually used Assettocorsacompetizione yet? Have any of you actually jumped in and given your hand at ACC? I'm trying to get this belt. Belt is stuck like in a weird way. There we go. And if so, what do you think? I know there's a lot of different settings floating around out there for VR, for us VR users. Protocol, hey, how you doing? The only issue that I'm coming into play with is I tried following Gamer Muscle's recent video that he did on his VR settings. It didn't work for me. Whenever I turn, it wasn't texture, it wasn't sharpness. Resolution. When I turned the resolution scale to 200, which is essentially super sampling at 2.0, I couldn't even be in the menus without it completely flickering out in my headset. And it might have something to do with the fact that, you know, the Samsung Odyssey that I'm using and the HTC Vive Pro already have a higher resolution panel than the Oculus and the Vive. So that might have something to do with it. You know, now I'm super sampling at a higher rate than, you know, what you find with the normal Vive and the Oculus CV1. So that might have something to do with it, but I couldn't even, as soon as I loaded up the beginning menu, the whole thing was just flickering like crazy. I had to go back to default graphical settings. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Trying to go back to the gym, trying to lose some weight. Started gaining weight like crazy. You know, as most of us do. I'm in my 30s now, so it's funny how fast you start gaining weight in your 30s. You know, so that kind of like an abrupt change going from your 20s to your 30s. All of a sudden, you stare at a cookie the wrong way and you just start gaining weight like crazy. ACC, you like it, but VR is still bad in your opinion. Very blurry, and you tried everything. Interesting. So I just did a practice session at the Misano World Circuit. Visually, it looks worse than what I was experiencing in the Nürburgring. And I wonder if ACC is doing some dynamic changes of their visuals, because I also noticed that the textures of the track in my mirror, and you're going to be able to see this when we're racing in just a moment, the textures of the track as we were racing were popping out very soon, sooner than what we would experience at the Nürburgring circuit behind us. So, and it almost, I could see the car's textures kind of changing very close ahead of us, and you guys might be able to see that on the stream. I'm actually using, well, actually you can't see it right now, but there's another computer over here we're streaming off of. I'm doing that on purpose to try to keep the performance of our gaming computer as high as possible. But you may see that. You may see the textures of the vehicle ahead of us popping in and out. And the reason why I mentioned we have another computer here is because I put the render quality of this stream as high as possible, so that way you guys could see any changes ahead of us. But I noticed like the tires of the car ahead of us disappearing, and they weren't even that far ahead, maybe 5 car lengths ahead at the Misano World Circuit. It's still running smooth, but yeah, it's actually pretty blurry, pretty hard to see. I'm noticing some artifacting on the screens too, for like a split second, something I didn't experience in the Nürburgring. So, but again, to reiterate, this is an early release, essentially a beta release. So, I mean, I'm sure these things are going to be addressed, especially when you have such a big difference from one track to another. I thought the Nürburgring track was gorgeous and looked really good, very acceptable. But when you go over to the Misano World Circuit, it was very different. Let's see. Yasin says he has a 1080 Ti 7700K and Oculus, and you can't run it at 200%. You tried it too. Yeah, it's very strange. I'm not exactly sure what Gamer Muscle's doing. I know he doesn't have a 2080 Ti, so I tried his settings straight to a T, and I couldn't get it running. Protocol, oh yes, the body changes. He packed on the pounds, hit the gym recently, dropped 40 pounds, in ideal shape right now. Also changed diet, which is key. Yes, I'm actually trying to do that. I noticed, and I kind of hit face to face with that. I never thought I was weak diet-wise, but there's sometimes it's like I just can't help but I want to get this particular thing to eat, specifically cookies. Very weak with sugar cookies, and we have a bunch of them in the house right now, which was kind of my fault for buying them. But oh man, it's like sometimes I just stare at them. I'm like, I have to eat them, and then I think to myself, am I that weak that I mean, I'm trying to do something here. I've been going to the gym almost daily, and I'm like, come on, man, you don't need to eat this. And then I'm just shoving them in my face. I'm like, what am I doing? What is this going on here? I'm just shoving cookies in my face. But yeah, I'm getting better diet wise. I just need a little bit more drive, I think, and that's just me. All right, so we're gonna do a 30-minute race at the Misano World Circuit. I want you guys to really pay attention, not only for the fact that it's just a race. If you guys, it seems like you guys are also VR users too. We're running a 1080 Ti. AMD Ryzen 2700X. Everything's overclocked to normal levels, that anyone else could achieve. It's nothing crazy here. 16 gigabytes of RAM. I think it's Corsair Vengeance RAM running at 2900 megahertz. I don't think I was able to get above that without having some instability issues. So if you have a similar system, or if you just want something to compare it to, definitely look at the distance in the rearview mirror and everything like that, and see if you're noticing any texture issues. And this is key, because this is an early release. Maybe we could, Mr. Cookie Monster, yep. Maybe we could help the Kuno's team with, their development, kind of bring things to light with our different systems, because I'm sure they don't have every combination of every system running at their lab. So, maybe we could help them with this. But it almost feels like there's some dynamic things going along, because I also noticed while we were playing, I was not in reprojection at all. I had Steam window up, and it says that reprojection's off. It might be because we're using the Samsung Odyssey, and they might be doing their own reprojection. So I got to try to see if there's any way to see if it's running reprojection and not through the headset. But it didn't feel like it, which was interesting and good. But visually, it didn't look that good. So we'll see. We'll jump in right now. Again, you won't be able to see the menus because we're using menu type 2. It's the only way that we could see the menus, or else the menus were directly below us through the ground, which was completely unusable. but we're going to be using the Bentley Continental GT3 at the Misano World Circuit. We do have everything set to Pro as far as the difficulty. All right, for some reason the audio is not coming through. Hold on one second. I'm just going to make a quick adjustment to OBS. It's just going to flash for a quick second. It's kind of a common issue I'm having with ACC as well. Hold on, just. All right, so the stream should be back live. You all should be able to see and at least hear what's going on in the track. For some reason with ACC, whenever we're running ACC, when we're in or out of a race with OBS, if I change the camera and go back to my race view here, that the view you guys are seeing right now, I have to restart OBS for it to hook to the audio. I don't know if it's the video card or, I mean, the video grabber we're using, the video card that we're using or whatnot, but I don't know, just not doing it. Protocol says he thinks some of it may be inherent to the engine UE4. They may need to build a custom solution. If they pull it off, other developers may benefit. Yes, I think so. And it's neat that they're doing VR support. Right now it's actually running pretty good. I lowered a few settings to medium. Specifically the anti-aliasing, I think I put that on high instead of epic. Sharpness, we raised that to 100%. It was down on 80. Post-processing we put on medium, effects medium, foliage medium. But everything actually looks better. I don't see too many jaggies in the distance like we were experiencing before, but yet let's jump in the car. It's kind of weird because I lowered anti-aliasing, but yet it looks like less jaggies in the distance. So, I don't know. We'll see here. Oh.
Here we go. Remember that the race is long.
There we go. So control space is actually the zeroing option we have now. You can't really assign another button to it. It's how you zero your headsets. So it looks like we're starting 13th. Oh no, we slid off the track. We overdriven that. Oh, getting hit. Cold tires. Cold tires. You guys can't see it, but our tires are actually in the blue, completely cold. We're struggling to maintain grip, but our tires are starting to heat up a little bit. They're almost fully green. Still 14th. Oh, no. I keep forgetting that break point. That's because we're new to this track. I did a practice session, but that was about it. Very short practice session. We're now 17th, rightfully so, until we start really learning this track. Then I think we'll start moving up. See some texture cutting out on those curbs there. I don't know if you guys caught that at all. Some of the curbs were essentially see-through. Sliding this thing all over the place. I wasn't having this hard of a time driving this car in the practice session. Feels like I turned traction control down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Big incident there. There we go. Feel like now we're somewhat getting control of this beast. There we go. That was a little smoother. Woo! The torque of this car. Oh, he let me go. So far, it's running pretty smooth. And it's kind of making me out to be a liar. I think those few settings that I lowered actually made it look better. If that makes any sense. So I think there's some dynamic things going on. I just noticed the audio. You guys can't even hear it. We lost in-game sound again. That is freaking weird. What is going on here? All right, let's see what's going on. Maybe we can try to get it back. Hold on just a second. You could hear the actual... Hey guys, how long ago did you guys lose it? Was it pretty much immediate? Did you guys lose the audio immediately? Oh, you lost it from the start. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna try to drive a little bit. I'm wondering if when I select this menu here, if we're gonna here we don't need the gloves. Whoa. All right, so you still got it. All right, audio is still going. Audio is still going. Oh, no. Hold on. We might actually just restart this session here. Because now I'm noticing the audio is a little bit on the loud side. Let's see. All right, so you guys still got it. What we'll do is we'll just restart. So you guys noticing any sort of texture issues? Anything that you guys are seeing yourselves? So of course the monitor is going to be a clearer view than what I'm getting here. Again, we're starting P13. We don't have any audio from our spotter. Now I can't hear the radio, which is weird. The radio screen's actually still up in the middle of my I don't know if you guys can see that at all, but it still says radio in front of my screen here. It's not really blocking my view. No, you guys can't see that. All right. As long as you guys can't see that, because that's kind of annoying. It's right in the middle of my dash. There's got to be a bug going on. If you can imagine where the dash is, there's just a box there that says radio and the message to get P10 or better. Whoa! Lamborghini's fighting me hard. The Lamborghini's still up next to me. He does not want to let me go. My gosh, he's still there. There we go. We finally pulled away from him. See these two Audis in front of us completely battling it out. Oh. Way too hard on the brakes. We completely locked them up. There we go. So far, we're hanging in there. We're 11th place. I still have that window stuck on my screen. See if we can get this R8. Let's see if we can get him. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, he didn't know I was there. He came in and hit me. All right, so far we're ninth. Noticing some curbs are like clear. There's some texture issues on some of the curbs. He started losing it. I capitalized on it on the outside. I like how many different lines the AI takes. It's like the AI is a little bit more realistic that way. Some of them follow a very strict line. Some of them are kind of all over the place. They make mistakes, which is nice. Whoa! Oh, man! I was not expecting that. Kind of jumped on the brakes real hard there. I was not expecting him to stop so abruptly right there. We still got 20 minutes left. So far, you guys, it looks like you get an audio at least. I don't know why we lost audio before. Actually, didn't have to downshift the first there. Brakes squealing. Fastest lap. My fault. Not stopping fast enough. I'm really liking this circuit. Now that I lowered some of the graphical settings and it's running really smooth, it's a lot of fun. Whoa! Whoa. My gosh. Carried too much speed, and I think the, when I was turned and I just tapped the brakes, it locked up probably the inside tire. We went and mowed the grass for a while. Trying to see if the textures behind us are popping out. At the same time, I forgot to brake. Trying to evaluate the background as I'm driving. It's a little bit hard to do. I really want to catch up to that group ahead of us. Looks like we still got about 13 minutes left. try not to do that again. We'll get off the gas here. Wait till the wheels straighten, then slow down. What the heck was that about? It was like we had a... That was weird. It was like as if we put the pit speed limiter on for a split second. "11 minutes left." I can see the cars ahead, just we're not really catching them. And I know it's because I'm not being consistent. I'm watching that race logic clock right there, and I know we're putting vastly different times down every time. That was a little bit better. I feel like we carried a decent amount of speed through there. Alright, they're starting to get drawn in a little bit. We still got 10 minutes, so we should be able to at least get to them. It's almost hard not to get too excited and start overdriving corners. Looks like they're making moves on each other. Got the Audi right next to us. There we go. He let me go. funny enough, when you get real close to the cars ahead, with the Bentley, you can't see the taillights of the cars ahead of you. It's just the hood, the dash is so high. I can't see those taillights at all. See if we can get this AMG. He's still there, right next to us. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's trying to come up on the inside. Just too fast. Woo! Oh, he tried to come up on the inside. Oh, we hung it way out wide. We are now third place. Oh, I was way too slow. Oh, off the track on the other side. Try to use as much of the track as possible. We messed that one up. Oh, way out, off the track. I could start to see the second place car, but we only got 2 minutes left. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to catch him. So we are currently third place. I don't know if you all can see that at all. It's a downside for you guys not to be able to see the menu system. Line was a little bit better. At least we didn't slide way off the track. All that backfiring there. Got 23 seconds left. 20 seconds left in the session. That's a second place car right ahead of us. We are third place out of 21 cars total. Whoa, what is going on? We lost complete gameplay there. Right at the end of the race. Fatal error. The UE4 AC2 game has crashed. What the heck is that? So, 10 seconds before the end of the race, which that would have been the end of the race there, the title has completely crashed. Isn't that something? It crashed, crash. So this was an Assettocorsacompetizione stream. Norman Robinson, how are you doing? Let's see here. Let's move chat over. Let's get this view up here. So we would have finished third. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. But the title actually crashed. Yes, crashes, title, crashed. This just in, Crash 2.0. Crash Inception. Oh, man. Norman Robinson says, so good to finally make it onto your live webcast. I want to know how your rig is going. If you posted a new video of it, your insane Goliath of a rig. I'm very curious to hear about that. Okay, so you need some insight on how I managed to get VR running properly in game. Okay, let's see. Okay. So that was at the end of the race, and I kind of wonder. I just ran back through the messages. I kind of wonder if all the issues we were having, as far as the title crashing completely at the end of the race, has to do with the fact that Misano circuit is a new circuit that they have just released. Also, you could notice on that stream that we just did, we lost sound. Okay, we lost sound to the actual OBS, so we had to restart the race. We had sound issues. And then when we restarted the race, we didn't exit the title at all. We restarted the race. Then we lost our crew chief. We couldn't hear our crew chief at all. So I don't know what was going on with that. And then you guys couldn't see it because you guys can't see our menus that we have on inside the screen. But it said that opening menu, I mean that opening thing of, you know, your goal is to place in the top 10. That was actually right in the middle of my field of view, actually overlaying our dash. Good thing it's slightly transparent, so I could actually see the dash through it a little bit. I was like having to struggle to see what gear we were in. But yeah, we could sort of see through it, so that was very distracting. And that message was up the entire race. I had no other correspondence from or audio from our pit crew at all. So that was weird, and I kind of wonder if that had something to do with the fact that the title crashed right at the end of the race when it would do that sort of finishing, seeing your car driving off in the distance, and then it would, you know, fade away and show you the ending race results. I think it would just, you know, through the entire race we were having issues. The AI was so engaging and so fun. Our difficulty settings that we're running on is actually not too bad at all. We're running at 85 or 86 and 86, so 86%. As far as the AI difficulty, in their aggressions at 86. I think I remember Gamer Muscle saying that he runs it at, what was he saying, 80% and then 85% or something like that. But around that range, it's very engaging. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, I run them at 86, 86. I'm almost 100% positive Gamer Muscle could probably run at like 90, 90. And not have any issues whatsoever, or even all the way up. For us, you know, we were just learning the Misano circuit. I wanted to back things down a little bit. And being that this is our first time racing at the Misano circuit, we still finished third. You know, we only had 10 seconds left before we crossed through that finish line, and then it crashed. So, yeah, that would have been the end of the race there. But, yeah, the Misano circuit was new to us, a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed it, but I'm going to go through some of the settings that we have in the 2D mode so that way you can see what we're doing for VR and what is working for us. I'm going to shut everything down as far as VR is concerned, so there's no issues there. And nope, that's normal, Assettocorsa. Norman Robinson says he has tactile transducers working. Everything has been completed except for the D-Box 4 Degrees of Freedom installations. Are you getting new ones? I remember you were mentioning something about your D-Box that you were having to return them. So hopefully you're getting some new ones. But your tactile transducers, I mean, they're still a lot of fun. You get a good feeling for what the vehicle is doing in its entirety, which is really cool. Okay. Putting the funds together for the last Gen 2 versions. Okay. Good deal. Good luck to you, man. Definitely keep us informed because that rig is amazing looking. If you haven't seen Norman Robertson, he has like a quick video that he took, just a quick tour of his rig, and it's absolutely phenomenal looking. An amazing rig. Huge. That thing is a Goliath, but it's an absolute amazing rig. So let me change this over so you can see what we're looking at here. So this is just a normal 2D version. Now, a lot of these settings are going to have to, anything controller related or video related, they're recommending you go in your 2D version of the game title and adjust everything before you go in VR. So we're going to go to video settings, and this is exactly what we're running. So, yeah, yep, this is it. So you can see full screen enabled, VSync, of course, disabled. Resolution scale 100. Now, I tried the settings that Gamer Muscle just posted on a video today on what he's using, and he has his resolution scale to 200 and basically everything else on medium or low. And I copied his settings exactly. As soon as I loaded up our opening menu, I couldn't, it was unusable. Everything was just skipping like crazy. And what I think is because the Samsung Odyssey here, the Samsung Odyssey has a higher resolution panel than the Oculus and the Vive, and I think he's using the Oculus, I want to say, or I'm not exactly sure. But the Vive Pro and the Samsung Odyssey have the same panels, and they're a higher resolution. So I think when we put our resolution scale to 200, it's essentially running a 2.0 super sampling of a higher resolution panel, which is making it much harder to run. So yeah, I couldn't at all. So we put the resolution scale back on 100. I would rather have better performance at this stage, you know, until we get things figured out as to maybe what's going on there. View distance is epic. Shadows is epic. Anti-aliasing is high. Anti-aliasing type temporal. Before it was on epic, but we put it down to high just to get some better frames on this Misano circuit. Interestingly enough, from epic to high in VR, it actually looked better. And we noticed less jaggies, and that's kind of why I wonder if there's something going on in the background that's actually adjusting things dynamically, because you know, I think it was being harder to run on my system, so it was like pulling things back and making things almost look worse to try to keep the frame rates up high. So when I lowered it down to high, for some reason it looked better. I don't know, a little weird. FX, we put the medium, post-processing medium. Sharpness, I bumped that up from 80% to 100%. Made things on my dash a little bit easier to read. Foliage high. Textures epic. Frame rate limit is off. That's off by default. Mirror quality high. Opponent visibility 20. Motion blur disabled. I never run with that. It's just a very weird effect on any title. I don't like that at all. And saturation 100, and I'm assuming that's color saturation, but in VR it actually looks really good, so it doesn't look cartoony at all. So those are my settings that we're running with right now. So hopefully that helps you all out if you're considering trying this in VR, or if you're having issues in VR. Now, something else I want to show you, I know the screen just went black there for a second. I'm going to show you where to adjust your VR settings if you're having issues seeing your menu. Get this up. Okay, so you can see here we have our documents window up. So where you want to go is you want to go to your PC, documents, then Assettocorsacompetizione. Now they do have this in their release notes, but this is just a quick kind of summary of where to go to adjust your settings otherwise. Then you go to config, then you go to VR settings, and you want to open this with Notepad. Then hit OK. And these are your VR settings here for the menus. So if you can't see the menus in front of you, what issue we had was every time we, you know, loaded up VR, the menus were directly below us and kind of behind us, so we couldn't see them. But I saw that they were there by like leaning my head back or taking the headset off and putting it down behind me. That's the only way we could see them. So these are the settings we're running with here. The main menu layer distance. But the main thing that enabled us to see the menus, but unfortunately took the menus away from you guys, is we changed all the main menu layer types, the race menu layer type, and the HUD layer type to 2. So that made the menus kind of stay focused on the headset and the headset position. So as I move my head around, the menu moves with me, which is not ideal, especially with the in-car HUD overlay. If some things are in the corners, you can kind of see them by moving your eyes to the peripheral view, but you can't turn and look at things, or you can't lean in and look at things because things are stuck to the headset. But it's the only way I could see the menus, and it works. It's not horrible, but it's, you know, it is what it is at this point. So you just take everything and you stick everything on 2. That should work, except for the HUD. The HUD's going to be way too close to you. So I changed the HUD size to 50 and the HUD layer distance to 40. I think default it was 20. It was way too close. So I couldn't actually see anything on the peripheral. I couldn't see what place we were in, the amount of time left in the event, or anything like that. So I had to push it out to 40. That makes it somewhat readable. Well, not somewhat readable, very readable. But the only problem is some things are on the peripheral, like our traction control. I can't actually adjust it and see exactly what the traction control setting is because it's way on the right edge of my field of view. I could see where it is, and I kind of see that it says something, but it's very hard to read at that point. But everything else is perfectly within vision, and I could see it. So that's the only thing there. The race menu layer distance, I'm actually going to lower that down. I've been meaning to do so. We're going to put that on 55. I think 55 would be good. It's just a little bit too far away for me to see. And then you save. And then you have to restart the title. And once you restart the title, that's when you actually, you know, get the full effect of everything in VR. So those are our settings that we're running with now. I hope this kind of helps you all. Oh, hey, no problem. I hope that actually helps you all kind of at least get into VR. Some of the big things that I noticed were the sharpness, bumping that up to 100, but then lowering down like the foliage to high from Epic, or the anti-aliasing type. I left it on temporal, but I lowered it from Epic to high. Effects and post-processing down to middle. And that greatly improved my racing experience. And I noticed a lot of the cars ahead of us weren't really clipping out as far as their textures weren't just disappearing in front of me. Before I was noticing their tires and their liveries were just disappearing right ahead of me, and I could watch it happening as it's popping in and out. I didn't really notice that in this race at all, and I think it's because we lowered some of the settings. I still noticed in the mirror a lot of the textures of the track disappearing, as well as there's one hairpin turn, and I'm sure you all seen it, that there was no textures there. It was basically clear the entire time. And I think that might have had also something to do with why the title crashed, whatever bug or issue was going on there. A lot of these issues, I don't really have too many of them in the Nürburgring circuit. I think the Misano circuit's maybe a little bit more demanding. So Norman Robinson says, been watching the reviews online about the Pimax 8K and 5K Plus HMDs, and I'm seriously considering upgrading to the Pimax 5K Plus version. We are going to upgrade to that, definitely. So as soon as as soon as it opens up pre-orders, we're going to be jumping into that as soon as possible. So hopefully you all can see all the settings there, and you all can copy that if you're having some issues. Just make sure, you adjust everything in the 2D mode of Assettocorsacompetizione, so that way it will stay. They say adjust all settings in the 2D version, then exit, then go back into the VR version. Let's see. Awesome. Thanks, not tanks. No, I know what you meant. I know what you meant. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to call it here. I'm Crash, this is RTA Motorsports. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope it kind of gave you some information as to what is going on in their updates in ACC. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Obviously, I love GT3 style racing, so I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I do enjoy the older stuff. I like the DTM stuff, the 1992 stuff. I really enjoy that stuff too, but DTM, I don't know. I just have a lot of fun with it. I know this is the Blancpain Racing Series as well as, GT3 style racing. So everything along those lines I love, and I'm really enjoying this title as they're releasing it. I enjoy the AI. The AI seems very dynamic. They do have, on occasion, some issues with trying to pass you, but when they're ahead of you or alongside of you, they keep up a good fight. And it's very entertaining. I really like what they're doing with the AI model. And I think as the rating system sort of progresses and then it goes into, how our driver aggression level is and everything like that, and then maybe they'll feed it into the AI and the AI will adjust accordingly. And we also seen the AI make mistakes, which is hard for that to be implemented in coding, to have that level of artificial intelligence where the AI will actually make mistakes and it doesn't look like it was scripted or done on purpose. It was like legitimate mistakes that we capitalized on a few of them. So it's very entertaining. I like what ACC is doing, and I think this title is shaping up to be something special. Just keep in mind it's early access. So all these problems we're talking about are just current issues. They're going to be releasing patches and updates as time progresses. The motion rig is running really good. You saw in the first half of the live stream, we lost audio in our live stream. I heard audio through the headset, but we lost it to OBS. And you could hear the actuators were actually pretty in sync with what the car was doing. And that's what I'm feeling. That's exactly what I'm feeling. And that, goes according to SimTools, but also the output of ACC's telemetry to SimTools is really good. So I'm just happy all around. I'm really happy with this title so far. So I hope you all get in here and get going while it's cheap, because the next update they're actually going to be bumping the price up. And if you jump in just like Dirt Rally did in the past, if you jump in early, the price is lower, and then as time progresses, as the upgrades happen, they're going to be raising the price of entry into the title, but yet us early adopters don't necessarily have to pay more, which is nice. So Norman Robinson, we need to get you to 10K subs, man. I know. I really want to get that community tab so that way I can let you know way in advance that we're going to be doing a live stream, because it's actually kind of hard for us here to do just normal scheduled live streams, because my schedule is already kind of all over the place. So if I could let you know in a day in advance, hey, tomorrow we're going to be doing a live stream at this time, or at least, 6-7 hours in advance, I think that would have been awesome. That would be absolutely awesome for you guys to, be able to join in our live stream. So I think that would help us out greatly. So if we could get to 10,000 subscribers, that would, I think that would just make this experience a lot easier until we could finally have a scheduled sort of outlet. Norman Robinson says, have I had a chance to experience the pit stop as of yet? The pit stop, no, not yet. I want to jump in and actually see how that works. We didn't have to do that at all in this race. I was kind of wondering if if that was actually going to be a thing. So no, we haven't experienced that yet. I don't think the races are really long enough yet. And that's kind of the thing. The only time I experienced the pits was when we were doing practice sessions. And there wasn't really many, it just restarted in the pits. So, the race length right now is capped to 30 minutes. So I think once the race length gets a little bit longer than that, that's when we're really going to start seeing, pit stops being utilized. But yeah, nothing yet as far as pit stops. But hopefully soon we'll get into that. But everyone, I'm Crash, this is RTA Motorsports. I hope you enjoyed. I hope there was some good information here. Definitely